My name is Maj.Gen.Dick Olum. I am the UPDF Mountain Division Commander based in Fort Portal in Mohoti Barracks. I am also the commander of Operation Shuja, joint operation undertaken by the forces of the FARDC, which is the Congolese military, together with the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, the Ugandan military. As you're all aware, the joint operation was initiated originally by the two heads of states of the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Ugandan government. And this was an initiative from two presidents, President Yoweri Museveni and President Felix Tshisekedi of Congo, who both looked and foresaw the threat the ADF had caused to the population, and especially after having seen the havoc the ADF did in the city in Kampala and other parts of Uganda, the killings, the kidnaps, all that made the two heads of states to come out with this initiative of a joint operation between the two militaries to come out and save the population from all these terrorist activities, both in Congo and in Uganda. I have served for more than 30 years in the military, especially our own military, the UPDF. I have served in various capacities, started as a very young man. Today I'm reaching the peak of my service in the military with a lot of background of specific positions held within the UPDF. I cannot say why the president picked me to come and command this operation. All I can say is that the commander-in-chief and the leadership of the UPDF know better who, when, and where to pick an individual within the army. It's not that I am the only person who could have been picked for this. It's not that I am the best that should have been picked for this. But all I know is that the leadership, the military leadership, know better who comes, where, when, and how. This is not the only operation of the UPDF that I've commanded. I've been to Central Africa, I've been to Somalia, I've been fighting the LRA in the northern Uganda, and today I am here in the DRC trying to run after the ADF, which of course has proven to be a very great success. And I wouldn't say there's something so special about me. All I need to explain to listeners and viewers is that is what the military does. It is what we do, and that is how the leadership picks on an individual. It's nothing special about me particularly. The Mountain Division is one of our specialized divisions within the UPDF. Is based in the frontiers of the two countries, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. And now, being a mountainous region, that's why we qualify the Mountain Division as a specialized division, ensuring security and peace within the two neighboring countries within the boundaries, and also ensuring the ADF is totally annihilated and decimated. And that, I think, is the priority that makes the Mountain Division, not necessarily me, look at what its objectives are. The eastern part of the DRC is a hugely thicket that in most cases do not have infrastructure. They are facilities that do not meet easy access to mobility, to planning, to storage. So most of the challenges have been, one, infrastructure where our troops can be moved from point A to point B. Two, where our logistics can be hauled from one position to the other. Now, once you don't have infrastructure, then the troop movement, the logistics movement becomes a huge challenge. Three, the other challenge has been the use of the helicopter. Thank God the Commander-in-Chief and my predecessor, the Commander Land Forces now, General Muhanga Kayanja, and the former Commander Land Forces, General M.K. Mhozi, they looked at this operation as an operation that was really very expensive, an operation that had a lot of challenges, and one of the easiest means of sorting out some of this has been air. Now, the challenge that has been sorted by air has been extremely expensive. We continue to use the air here and there, but still remains a huge challenge to us because the air doesn't haul logistics as would have been done en route or by ordinary infrastructures. So we think that it is something that is great, but also to mention out of the challenges, the government of Uganda has done a lot in improving certain parts of infrastructures. For example, the road between Burasi to Boga, Boga to Kainama, and Chabi. These roads have been done by both governments, where the Congolese took one sector and the Ugandan government also took the other sector. So we think some of these challenges are being sorted out. The other challenge of course, connectability on infrastructure has been the ferries that has been put by the government of Uganda. The first ferry having been put in Rwebisengo, Burasi, that is a great achievement. Then to the other ferry that currently where we are seated in the Kasindi Crossing Ferry. I remember I went in 2013. I was in another mission in Central Africa. That was the mission against the Lord's Resistance Army, where I was based in Yambio, Jema, Obo, and all these other areas. It was from there that I was appointed as the contingent commander of the Ugandan contingent in Somalia. That was in 2013. And as I went, of course, it was a different situation. It's not like this ADF situation where you probably could. But the other one was an asymmetric warfare where there were lots of improvised explosive devices, where there was a lot of bombings in terms of mortars, artillery bombardment by these guys. And the situation in Somalia was so different. I think one of the biggest experience, and I think the best part of my operation in Somalia, has been the time we took over Barawe. That is 250 kilometers from Mogadishu. I think that was a huge achievement for AMISOM and specifically for the UPDF that really undertook that mission. That's a memory that the UPDF, I think, up to today feels happy about. And I'm happy to have been part of that mission to take over Barawe and sort out all that nonsense of the Al-Shabaab in that region. When I was the chairman of the court martial in Somalia, that time I had already left Somalia. I was the 3rd Division Commander in Moroto, Eastern Uganda. And during that time, I had already handed over the command of the Somali contingent to Maj.Gen.Dick Kavuma now, who was then the contingent commander, and had already been appointed as a division commander in Moroto. Now, the commander-in-chief looked at me and thought I would have been the best person to have been the chairman of the court-martial, specifically after having realized that, yes, I had operated in Somalia and I had that experience. I knew the ups and downs of the Somali mission. So I thought the commander-in-chief had that confidence and trust in me to have been the chairman court-martial. Yes, UPDF does not condone any wrongdoings. UPDF is a straightforward military. UPDF has got its ethos. I remember that time very well. Lieutenant Colonel then Bedo Mukisha, who now is a brigadier, was the commander in Arabiska. As I called on him to come, then appeared a vehicle from nowhere, a small vehicle. Little did we know the vehicle was stuck with huge bomb materials. On seeing that vehicle, I told the soldiers and my officers who were in the convoy with me, let's board and go. And indeed, as we boarded, after exactly 2 minutes, the vehicle exploded. That was an experience that I have carried throughout my life from Somalia. And it is an experience that I've brought into this mission, that always never judge and take for granted anything that you see. Anything can be so dangerous in life. As soldiers, this is not something that is new. As soldiers, these are things that we follow carefully and critically to know that you can secure or you can save the lives of your soldiers if you're very cautious of anything that goes around you. If I remember the first person, then Colonel Eluelu, today General, the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, I think he's one of the best commanders that have got the best experiences in the mission in Somalia. There are places where you'd get people like the late General Paul Lokech that fought in the city, in the Bakara market, in the port. These are commanders who did a lot. Those are huge achievements by the UPDF, something that the UPDF will remember. Great men like General Peter Eluelu, General Paul Lokech, General Kavuma, the Brigadier Golobas, and all of them who have been in Somalia. Of course, including the commanders who kept visiting us. You wouldn't imagine that the former Commander Land Forces, then General M.K. Muhoozi, who was then the commander of Special Forces, undertook a lot of visits. I would remember when General M.K. would come and get me, and I flew with him to Shalamboti. Eventually flew with him to Bulamarer, where eventually recently we got some sad news of our soldiers being attacked. I think it has been something that the UPDF is famed for. General Katumba, for example, who would visit us now and then. General Muhoozi David. I mean, this is something that we UPDF are always proud of. So I wouldn't say all the achievements or anything that could have come during my time in Somalia was specifically about me. It's about the entire UPDF. I remember way back in 2002 when I was appointed a brigade commander, 307 Brigade, that was in Soroti in Teso. The LRA situation is exactly the situation of the ADF. These are people who would kill for nothing. There wasn't any political aim, motive. They thought they would march to Kampala. They wouldn't do it. They kept maiming people, killing, destroying properties. But of course today, I'm a very happy person that LRA is no more. I remember having followed LRA up to South Sudan, to Congo in Dungu and Faraje, up to Central Africa, Jema, Obo, as I was based in Yambi. I think LRA has been a success story for the UPDF, and today LRA is nowhere to be seen. I feel so happy when I see some of the components or some of the relations to the LRA families come and meet His Excellency the President, who is a very big parent in all these situations. I grew up as a young man with an ambition of wanting to become a Catholic priest. And once I went to the Apostles of Jesus Seminary in Moroto to become a priest. By 1986, I couldn't make it. But as it is said in the Bible, many are called and few are chosen. I think I was not chosen. And I knew and I think and I had faith that God had a path for me to serve in the military. As a son of a military officer from the 70s, I grew up admiring a lot about the military. Once God decided that I would not become a Catholic priest, I thought I would go back to the first call, the service of my father, who was a soldier, also a retired soldier, now who's late. And in 1986, I became one of the first recruits of the UPDF to join the then NRA. And I'm happy to be part of this great military as a former seminarian, meant to be a Catholic priest, and now a military officer, a general commanding one of the most prestigious and excellent formations of the UPDF. Today, the young children we are bringing into the army sleep on mattresses, which we used not to do. Eggs, bread, milk. I don't see where I would late General Tumuine, God rest his soul in peace, that he would take eggs and milk in the bushes. It was either plain maize, raw cassava. The UPDF has come from very far, and today where we are, we have started retiring. Most of our generals who served then big names, including the opposition leader like Colonel Kiza Besije. They all saw these things and they are witness to this. When I came to the division, I found so many girls. I said, if I can save the strength of the UPDF in allowing the male soldiers operate more, let me save that strength of the division by taking on girls. Up till today, I still want to use so many girls. I've tried to teach a few of these girls to drive, and they are trying. I've trained them in various weapon handling, in firing. I've trained them how to drive. They can now hold the machine gun, the PK. They can fire the AGL. They can fire the pistols. And these are the girls I'm trying to move with. Let's look at them also as soldiers who fight. I am so happy in one of these battalions, the Makindi battalion. You have girls in the squads, moving in the squads. They are there deep in those forests in Congo.